Welcome to the Evolution Podcast, the podcast that came from a growth summit that we had in Evergreen Foundations, our school community. So we're a school-based podcast. We like to have a lot of our guests are school owners, and today's no difference. We're different. We're bringing on summit guest for our first, this is our first number two, our first rerun of a guest here, Jack Robinson from the Skoolyard. How's it going, Jack?
I'm doing well. It's a nice little morning over here in Montreal. I opened my window and it was really cold, so I closed my window. And now I'm here. So how are you guys?
Doing good. It's super cold here in Wisconsin this morning too. We had like a warm up, and when I say a warm up, it was like below freezing, and now it's way below freezing. So yeah. Um. So we talk school strategy and talk strategy on here a lot. What do you got going on with the schoolyard and everything you're working on these days?
Um, I'm trying to make my free stuff better. I think that's always something worth working on because I've always believed that if you have better, well, Alex Hormozy has always believed, and I just steal it because I think it makes sense. If my free stuff is better than the market's paid, I will get paid more. Because I do believe that people make sincere and repetitive judgments about people quickly without much thought and without much kindness when it comes to in your own brain, like how quickly you judge a person. I think that's just human nature. You need to survive. And so, how can I make my stuff so useful, so good, so helpful, so problem solving, feeling gooding, as a scientific word that is, that people's first impression of me is like, okay, this guy knows his stuff. He's helpful. He cares. I think that's the big one. And so those are all of my ideas behind what I'm doing in my school
I think
recently.
I think it's super important too. I've been having a lot of conversations about this lately, as you probably know, because you see my face a lot. um, is your free offer should be outstanding. I've heard so many people are like, I don't have an offer. Well, yeah, you do. What is your community? Your community, the second someone walks in, is your offer. That's your free, and your free offer should be amazing. I know Dave the other day was like, "Don't say the word free," but like, I don't care if the word free turns people off. Fine, but like, it your free offer, meaning your live groups, your content that you do every day, your classroom, everything that they get for just being in that community, if it solves a ton of tiny wins for them, and is absolutely amazing because they get something out of it, and they when you do something like you grow, you take action and something changes in your business, your life, whatever it means, you feel good. And when you feel good, you want more of that. So if your free offer makes people feel really good, they're going to want to ascend into your other offers. Have you seen
Yep.
that in action in the schoolyard?
No,
You have not.
that's the thing. That's the thing is that the plans page as of this recording, February 4th, 2026, does not appear anywhere unless you type in the URL and then you add slash plans, meaning nobody will ever see it unless you hyperlink it everywhere. And if you hyperlink it everywhere, you might feel sleazy about all your selling. So there's a like fun little balance and tango we're all doing of how do I make my plans page all nice and sexy, and then how many people actually view my plans page. Oh wait, it's none, because nobody knows to do slash plans, like almost nobody. I know all we do, and people watching this probably do because we're all school owners, but guess who is not school owners? More than likely your ideal customer.
How
So
about when you go into the classroom and then certain content unlocks unless you pay, for premium or VIP, then you can just click on that and that takes you to upgrade, right?
yeah, have you guys ever gotten a sale like that?
No. Yes, once.
Yeah, nice. I think that works for low ticket, like $20 and less. I have, so I've got 40 paying members about, and one of them bought without me being on a call with her, and it was in the DMs still. So nobody will buy your stuff if you don't talk to them. Unfortunately, I know everybody wants to make passive income, but if you want to make your ticket above probably 15 to $20 a month, you're not going to get people to buy just off the plans page because one, plans page doesn't have enough character count to actually explain what they get.
Yeah.
Two, nobody knows how to find the plans page. And three, most of us don't have any credibility.
Actually, my Purple Friday offers both were people that I never talked to, and they just saw my offer and they bought it like that. The first 2 sales that I made on Skool.
Yeah, but that's Black Friday. So that's like an anomaly week in the entire stratosphere. There's like the spending per capita goes up like 800% or some crazy stat. So that's just kind of riding a wave. Has it happened since? I don't think so. Hasn't happened to me.
So what is the process? If you got someone listening going, well, I just set up my plans page. I just put in all my offers and I just did that. And I was hoping people are going to buy it. Like what is your solution to if no one's going to look at it and buy it? What's the process?
Get people to look at it and buy it. I think,
I
fortunately, friends and family, business is hard. If it wasn't, a lot more people would be in business. I'm muted. The game of business is just staying in business. So, in order to stay in business, you need to have a higher lifetime value per customer than the cost that it requires to collect that customer. Probably also need to pay off your credit card every month. Probably also need to enjoy what you're doing, enjoy who you're helping. And you just need to have enough cash at the end of every month, live, and then to reinvest in your business. And most people in school are struggling to get that cash at the end of every month from their school to either pay off the $9 a month or the 99 or all the time that they're putting in because your time does have a value. Everybody gets paid by the hour. If you don't, just divide the amount of hours you worked on something by how much you got paid. There's your hourly wage. Everybody has an hourly wage, myself included. Um, so if the game of business is staying in business and you need to stay in business, there's like not that many ways to stay in business. The only 3 ways to grow a business, I read this from Alex Hormozy, was get more customers, get them to spend more, and get them to spend more times. So it's more customers, customers paying higher prices, and customers paying repeatedly. It's the only 3 ways you can grow a business. And so if you are not waking up and trying to get any of those 3 outcomes, you're not growing your business. I also am starting to believe that there is no such thing as maintaining in a business because the market as a global market grows at like 9 to 10% per year, which is like the S&P 500. And so if you don't grow at 9 to 10% per year in your business, you are by definition losing to the market, therefore by definition dying, losing stock price if you must. And therefore every day you need to be growing. And the only 3 ways to grow is more customers, get them to pay more moolah, or get them to pay more moolah more times. So if you are not doing actions that lead you to either of those 3 results, your business is dying. And I think writing a plans page, especially just in the current school environment where nobody can get to it and even find it, I truly believe that writing a plans page is not helping either of those 3 outcomes. You're not getting more customers when you write it. You're not going to get them to pay more money unless you price it really well and like Grand Slam offer. And you're definitely not going to get them to pay more times if they don't even find the page and pay it in the first place. So it's better to have a shitty page, plans page, and go tell 800 people about it than it is to spend 800 hours on it and tell no one. And I think most people tend to do the second, the later. And even I've been there, like where you spend so much time on a plans page because you're like, this is so awesome. People are going to love it. And then you just leave your desk and you don't tell anybody. And then you're like, wow, I worked so hard on that plans page, but nobody bought it. What? And as of the time of this recording, nobody can find your plans page in the first part. You got to do /plans to the end of your URL.
That's something that you think is going to change, where it'll be something that's just like more visible.
Yeah, I think it should be a button. I mean, I'd have to talk with the team. Else, maybe I could send a DM to Kirby or Andrew or Sam Ovens, but I would say that like maybe not because technically you can make the button yourself by adding it to one of your 3 links on the pro plan. So like one of my links is called upgrade. So there it is. It's on the right hand side of your desktop version of your Skool all the time. I would assume it is something that changes eventually, but tiers as a concept, if we are February, January, December, November, tiers are like 4 months old. And
Yeah.
so nothing gets like solidified in 4 months. I would not expect us to be happy with the tier setup for another year, probably, just because
Mm.
it takes a lot of iteration, a lot of feedback. The platform is growing faster in 4 weeks now than it did in the first 4 years. So the accessibility of a plans page is probably very low on the list of priorities for the Skool team, mostly because the Skool team also understands that, like, yeah, you need to go and you need to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. It's scary, but you need to believe in your offer, whatever the price is. You need to believe that whatever you're offering, you are offering an excess of value for how much you price it at, so that people are like, okay, good deal. You want people to think anything you serve them is a good deal. You want them to think they're getting a good deal. And the way you do that is you price your product much lower than the value they receive. So for me, I pride myself on every listed benefit of my premium page is worth more than the premium price. I've got like 5 listed things. Every single one is worth more than 67 a month
Yeah. Yeah, I've been
without it.
saying it too. We're like, right now, I'm starting my Better Brain Project Premium at like $5 a month to get results. I want to implement and get results. So I'm leaving the price base. It'll never be that low again, right? But what I do with that is I don't have to really sell it. The other day, I had someone jump in right before a group because they went to my plans page, right? Because it was $5. So
Yeah.
I get the results off of that. And what I'm doing is we instantly looked at each other and we went, okay, now we have 3 premium members. How do we show up for those 3 members like this $5 offer is $100 a month offer? And just
Yeah.
do that. Create that offer now. I think now that you talked about this, I kind of want your opinion on this. I think some things people knew in not only coaching or wellness business or any online business, marketing, MLM products, schools. One thing I see, maybe not MLM products because they got their product, but like one thing I see people do too often is now I have to create this big offer and I'm presented to these people I barely know and they're going to buy the offer, but nobody cares about the offer because it's not built for those people. And I think once I started on Skool going, okay, what do the people that are my audience that are listening to me actually need me to do? And that's when I went backwards and I started doing the free offer. Let's solve a bunch of stuff. Like if I hear somebody say they need this, I'll help you. Let's do it. And then what happened was those little wins that I was solving, my members started coming to me with big wins or big problems, bigger things. Hey, how do I do this? Coming into my DMs. How do I do this? How do I set up tiers? How do I even like be authentic and show who I am? So I was like, you know what? Like, let's do a group on that. And let's like get together and let's do a group for that premium just based on that because you guys told me that. So now my offer has added 3 things to it that my members needed. I didn't sit down in a lab for 19 hours creating this special crafty offer that was going to change their life. I just went, what do they need? Okay, let's put that in the offer. And then boom, those 3 people that needed that show up to group every week and they're doing this stuff and they're getting things. And I guarantee you there's going to be more 3 people that are going to fit in that offer. Do you
Yeah.
see everything that I've done? How do you agree with all that? What do you see?
Yeah. The product is never finished. Um, and so I completely am on your page. And actually, I'd like to pivot the podcast now because I think I've been a bit of a pessimist. So now I can be like, okay, what do you do in the current climate of Skool? How do you make money? Um, and there's really like a couple of things that make it really easy. Um, I've always said in business, you should optimize for goodwill. And recently, I've actually learned the definition of goodwill. Um, according to Hormozy, who I keep quoting, um, goodwill is the difference between your price and the value you provide. So if I charge you $10 and I make you 10,000 bucks, you're going to think that I'm pretty cool. And the I'm pretty cool is your goodwill. And because the value is so in excess of the price, you're going to refer everybody you know to me. And
Yes.
so that is what people are missing out on when they come to pricing is that your price needs to be inferior to the value you provide, and the value needs to be like so excessively good for the price that people, one, love it, and then two, they love it so much that they're like, this is such a good deal, I need to tell my friends. So like we've all been there where like you come up and you see like this stock on the stock market, maybe like this is going to be good. You think it's such a good deal. You think the value is so much higher than the price. So you go run and you tell your friends. That's what you need to do with your product. That's what I am trying to do. That's why I want to make my free stuff better. It's because free is the lowest price. So anything you provide for free, the difference between the price and the value is infinite because it's free. But if you can still make your free thing so valuable that people are like, man, I could have paid like $1,000 for this or $100 for this. The difference is your goodwill. And if you can get your goodwill so high, which is pretty much people trust you, they like you, they think you're cool, they think your stuff works, then they're going to refer their friends. And referrals are the best marketing because referrals is just another way of saying word of mouth. And referrals has something called a quadratic growth instead of linear. So if you pay $100 on ads, you're going to get probably 10 leads, maybe 5. And then you go spend another $100, you might get 5 or 10. $100, maybe you get 20. But then you're going to do another $100 and you're probably back at 10. It's linear. It's input, output, input, output. Quadratic growth is I help Dinka. Dinka thinks that was pretty cool. I like Jack. I think Brandon would like Jack. Then Dinka tells Brandon. And then Brandon's like, okay, cool. I do Jack's thing. And Jack's like, oh, Dinka was right. Brandon was pretty cool. Jack was pretty cool. And he helped me, Brandon. And so Brandon might go tell his wife and his best friend. And so from Dinka, I've now gotten 3 customers. And then Brandon's wife and Brandon's best friend are going to take my stuff. They're going to like it. And they're like, oh, yeah, he is pretty cool. And then they're going to both refer 2 people. So it goes like 2 referrals, then 4, then 8, then 16, then 32, 64, 128,
Yeah, we get it.
200.
We get it.
Yeah,
Okay. Don't have
I'm
to
going to lose
flex.
the math.
I have a couple of issues with this. Uh, First of all, I think that it disappoints me to view at our communities only through the lens of money, because that's not my aim. I really want to create a community where people love to hang out and they come together and connect with each other. And also, I don't think that free is the lowest price. I don't actually think there is such thing as free. Nothing is ever free. There's always an energetic exchange. And the other thing that I really want to say to you is that I understand that you are a fan of Hormozy, and you should be, but we want you here for your own thoughts. Otherwise, we can just share one of his videos. So that's my invitation to you, to filter things through your own being and be a fan, and apply everything that you feel that is true for you, but we want you for your own genius. Okay, because I know that you have it, because I did your charts. I know man, that you have that. So not everything can be measured by dollar signs, especially in the field that I am. If I provide somebody with a map to what are the things that they can utilize to live a better life, or to achieve whatever goals they have, how do you put a dollar sign on that? There's not that it doesn't work with this model that you explained, like you spend so much and then this is the return. Like how do you put an amount of money on better relationship with yourself, or a better relationship with your partner, or finding a job that is aligned because you feel more fulfilled, or whatever? So these are not so black and white, or at least not in every field. I understand that where you are in the school growth space, you can measure this because people will get customers, they will sell their offers, and then there's like a number that you can put on it. And I imagine that there are much more people in that space than in my fluffy corner of school. But I just wanted to ask you this because, if I want to know, maybe someone else does too. So what are your thoughts on that?
What's your question?
So what if it's not something that can be measured by dollar signs? So how do you put a value on something that doesn't translate to chicken wings? It's not so simple to say like, okay, you gave me all this value, but how do you put, what you were explaining, that that's how much it costs them and then how much it gives them in return, and that's your goodwill. How do you measure that if there's no real number to put on what they are getting? So
Probably
to
how they
me, that's
feel.
where, well, okay, but that's how do you translate that? So that's where this model, or this analogy, or whatever you want to call it, is a bit difficult for me, for example, to apply to my own business, because it's it's not so easy. It doesn't translate.
So if I give something for someone for free,
Hmm.
it does require a time investment. So yeah, nothing's free.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then if they feel flippin' fantastic, that's the same thing, because value can be, I feel flippin' fantastic. So I know when people show up to my free coffee chats in the morning, it costs them nothing but their time, but they feel flippin' fantastic. And therefore, I have provided abundance value for the price, therefore built goodwill. Therefore, I will get referrals in the future.
Okay.
And, and I
And
think
also, I'd like to specify something. If you want me to leave and watch the Alex Ramosi video, I'd be happy to.
That's not what I said, Jack. That's not what I said. I know it's a sensitive topic, but I see you for your own excellence, and this is what we want. I know that you have an incredible heart and kindness, and so much enthusiasm and drive to grow yourself and help others to grow as well. And I know that you have this incredible amount of potential, and I just want to see that shine. And I see a lot of the Hormozy stuff that you keep coming back to, which, there's a lot of people, and I'm not trying to discredit him or anything. I'm not saying that there's a lot of good things in what he says, but we want you. That's what I'm saying. That
I think
really,
to piggyback off of that, to clear that up a little bit, what I hear her saying and what I think as well in my heart, 100 people could read and follow Alex Hormozy's books every single day. 100 of them. Nobody's going to do what you have done. Nobody's going to take the action. Nobody's going to take the knowledge in the book and do the things that Jack Robinson has done with it. Out of those 100, none of them. Only you are going to do all that stuff. So I think what Dinka's kind of saying is give yourself a lot more credit. Sometimes you do give
yeah,
out.
I think, yeah, that's maybe okay. Yeah, I will go with that option. I'm sorry if I came off like, I didn't mean to offend you, or I didn't mean to, I don't know, say that you have to be original or whatever, because I know that you are very one of a kind. I call you Laser Boy for a reason. So I didn't mean to sound in that way. So I'm really sorry for that. But let's go with what Brandon said. Okay, and I'm gonna I'm gonna shut.
uh, that's no scripts.
Yeah.
Um,
So I come from a very academic background. And so to give myself more credit would mean to give less credit to the things that have influenced the way I act. And that is less safe once you get to my level of business.
I love
If I were to say something as I remember it from a source that I read it from and not give it credit, therefore it puts me in danger. So I will always give credit when credit is due. And then I can put my own twist on it, sure. But if I say something as I remember it, which is usually exactly how it was written in the book, or a book or a video or a conversation, I think you should always give credit when credit's due. And I think taking credit is more dangerous. That's my opinion. I don't know,
I,
right? I think there's a reason that you need like works cited at the end of a paper, or a bibliography, or footnotes, or quotes, and credit, because taking credit for something that is technically not your own is a dangerous game.
I
But
actually,
sometimes it's also not so, again, it's not so black and white, because, for example, did I invent astrology and the human design and gene keys? No, it's also existing systems that I'm using to piece together information that is there for everyone to see. It's just my own interpretation, and that makes it brilliant, that it's my own interpretation, because I have this intuition and I have this different way of looking at things that is kind of just like picking out the right pieces of a huge pile of information. So do I have to give credit to astrology and to all of those systems? Well, maybe, but nobody can do what I do. And this is true for every single person. It's true for you too, Jack. Nobody can do what you do. Nobody. It doesn't matter. You can teach a lot of things and you can teach people some of your skills, but nobody can do what you do. And I just want you to see that. And it doesn't
Yeah,
mean that you
I
discredit the people that you learn from, but you picked and chose like all those little bits and pieces that, made up the person that you are right now. And that's
yeah.
brilliant. That's different. That's not like being another person, but just using the relevant information and building your own person from the information that existed before.
Yeah, I'm just also talking from like the legal framework of like I can't in a way you can't quote slash give credit to astrology. I can't quote slash give credit to business, but I can quote slash give credit to Alex Hormozy when I use his stuff because otherwise I will get sued. So I think that's also the perspective I'm coming with. Is just it's a
Okay.
protection thing more than anything else. Like I could have gone through this conversation and said the things I've said in the way I remember them, which is like almost directly from the book, and not said Alex Ramosi. And then in 3 years, when I'm a lot bigger, he sees that video, says Jack took credit for my stuff, and then I get my pantsuit off. So I'm just really trying to protect myself, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, cool.
I kind of want to go back to something you both talked about because it brought up something to me is where is the line of we want to show up, we want to be a community, we want to be connected. It's just like it's not about money. But then when you're running a business, you have, yes, there's the hobby plan. You can have just a community. But when you're running a school as a business, you kind of have to look at things like an ascension, but still show up for your free members, still show up as that genuine caring person. So where is the line of like focusing on the financial aspects too much and not the community aspects enough?
Unfortunately, I think my answer is black and white pragmatic, and Dinka will fight me on it, and we'll come to some fun conclusion. So I'll do black and white, and then Dinka adds the gray, and then that'll be the conclusion.
Look,
My black and white, my black and white is that um, the way to build a good community, if my definition of community is a group of people that care about the well-being of the others in the group, in order to foster that, you need to democratize your attention. So people join a community for me or for the Art Party method or AI clones or making money on Skool or not using social media or DMs. They come for the offer. They come for the idea, but then they stay for the community. That's the glory of Skool. Is you get people in the door with the offer and then they stay for the community. Community retains for you because they make friends and your community becomes a brand. And a definition of brand I've kind of like wrapped my head around is that a brand is just the association between like a feeling and your brand. So like if the association with my coffee chats in the morning is like I get to talk to like Brandon and Christina and Tim and we have good conversations and it's fun, you're going to associate the fun, the awesome energy at the start of your day with the Skoolyard. So it's brand association, which is good. And that's like me trying to explain the retention of a community. But when it comes to like, how do you make a community not all about money and actually like end up hurting the sense of community? My answer is democratizing your attention and at scale, that's super hard. And what does that even mean, democratizing your attention? It means that people that pay money deserve one-on-one attention. People that pay less money deserve one to few attention. So like smaller group calls, smaller cohorts. And then people that pay no money still deserve one to many. So that's why I have coffee calls where I'm on every morning because you can talk to me, which is like, I would say, I would argue decently valuable because I've got decent ideas here and there. And that's like, it's the most valuable thing you can give to anybody in the entire world is your attention. If I give you $1 billion, it's actually a lot worse than if I just give you 1 billion hours of my attention. even like 1,000 hours of my attention is worth more than $1 billion. If I dump $1 billion on you and I leave you, you're probably going to go bankrupt in 2 years. That's what happens to lottery winners. So the most valuable thing you can give someone in the entire world is your attention. And if you're like, I don't understand that, well, think of your favorite celebrity. Let's say mine is like Kendrick Lamar. And I could either pay $1,000 to get every piece of merch, exclusive albums, like exclusive vlogs, all this like content and cool stuff, like maybe the Kendrick Lamar songwriting framework, the playbook, all this stuff for $1,000, or I could get an hour at dinner with Kendrick Lamar. I'm picking the hour at dinner every time because that's his attention, undivided for an hour. And so I'm going to get like personalized feedback. I might make a friend. I might get like a cool like networking opportunity. I'm probably just going to enjoy myself. And that's because his attention is so limited because he's so successful. Maybe I should use like Beyonce from now on or Taylor Swift. So we all are talking the same language. Taylor Swift. Like if I get an hour of Taylor Swift's time, it's more valuable than all the frameworks and the offers and the products I could ever buy from her because it's her attention. And that is, if we're just thinking supply and demand, the supply is super low and the demand is like high as crap. So if you adopt the belief that your attention is the single most valuable asset in the entire world, I think a good community, the owner of the community, democratizes his attention. And so I've been thinking about this concept for like a month and a half now. I was always asking the question, how do you scale care? Because I think a real community just cares. That's it. It's just you care. I care about my peeps. I care about your progress. I care about like my progress. I care about how I can help you. I care about how you can help me. I care about if something bad happens in your life. I care about if something good happens in your life. It all just relates to the definition of community being a group of people that cares about the well-being of the other in the group. So if you just care, I'm like, how do you scale care? Like let's bring it to extreme. Jack's making $1 billion a year. How do I still show up to coffee chats in the morning and chat with people? How do you scale your care? Not scale your money. How do you scale your care? And I do think my answer as of today, February 4th, 2026, TBD, is to democratize your attention, which means for free, do one to many, for paid, do one to few, and for highly paid, do one-on-one. That is my conclusion at the moment.
I like it too, and I'm seeing it kind of work in real time. I mean, in Better Brain Project, I do like news things that people can watch when I have it on webinar. And then I just post it to the wall for like 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes of me talking. And then I do a group that's one to many. But if people show up, great. If nobody shows up, I usually record 10 minutes of just like a tip and put it out there. So a lot of me like on recording, on the wall, teaching things, couple one to many groups. And then we go ascend up the ladder. And watching that in my time has helped because I started in a small community and now I have two, and Evergreen Foundations was smaller, and me and Dave and Dinka and could show up all day, every day in the comments, talking to everybody. Like, we're very available. If you want to jump on a call, let's jump on a call. But then you grow. Now, I mean, as of now, I think we're in the 530 range for members, and we have a lot more active people. And we have people coming. It showed me that, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that forever. I'm not going to be able to be on every single comment because I also am on your team in the schoolyard at Better Brain Project. Like, I can't be in every single comment. So I have to democratize my time. And I'm noticing that as we're getting more and more paid members, and we're going, how do I show up for them? I think it naturally happens where you just have to show up for those paid members a little bit more, but you're still so ingrained in your community that you're still going to be on those live calls. You're still going to be on the one to manys. You're still going to be in comments here and there. Maybe not as much, but you're still going to show up for your people. So I think it's something you don't have to force. As long as you're showing up for each level, it just kind of naturally happens.
I do agree that attention is the most valuable thing that we can give to each other. Yes, finally we have one thing. Yay! Podcast here. No.
Win. End the episode right now.
Yeah.
No.
That's it. See you later. See you next
I'm really
week.
not doing this on purpose, and I enjoy
No,
that
it's
we
great.
can
No,
just
this is good
disagree
conversation.
and
Yeah.
just grow from it and still remain friends.
Yeah.
I just had a recent thing that is maybe an example of how that's, again, not so black and white. So because my community is so small compared to yours, for example, Jack, so it's just under 100 people, um, I talk to people about personal things. And when there's a crisis or something happened, regardless of that member is paid or whatever, or premium, or I don't know what, I will for sure be in their DMs and ask them what's going on. How can I support them? Not with like a business, hope or trying to sell, but just out of, being a human being and literally just caring for that person. So I understand what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense because, as you say, you also have to scale your business and scale your care. But I do believe that there are certain exceptions because you kind of want to keep your finger on the pulse of the community. And if somebody needs you because there's some, I don't know, extreme event or whatever on the personal side, or maybe even still on the business side, you do want to show up for those people. And it's very difficult if they only have access to you one-on-one, if they are the high ticket client. So how do you see that happening?
Ooh, I have a hot take, but I want you to go first.
No, hot takes are more fun. You go first.
My hot take is if my moderator in my business community, in my community that I'm running as a business, but also as a community, I want to show up all the time. If my moderator is doing some of the stuff that I then did, say in every comment, talking to people, hey, I see that you're sick, feel better, and then can tell me about it, and then I can get in there, I think it's just as important, and not to lose sight of now that you're democratizing your time, meaning all that goes away. You need to replace it. And we added a perfect segue. We added Iris Aponte to our moderator team yesterday. She doesn't have a ton of responsibilities. She's there because she's awesome, because she shows up in our community, because she already creates threads. And now I can just, hey, do you want to be on the team? Do you want to nurture people with me? And she's like, yeah, awesome. I do. So now Iris can be like, hey, Brandon, I've talked to these people and they've been telling me this. And if I miss it, I have eyes on it. So my hot take is if you're going to democratize your time, if you're going to be there more for your one-on-ones, more for that stuff, you need somebody in your community that's doing the same thing. That's kind of what my view is. Maybe it's not a hot
Yeah.
take, but it's
No,
that's
it's
where I'm
not. It's not a hot take. So crazy story. I actually was talking to a mentor that is definitely a millionaire, and he, um, like a multimillionaire. He has a very small team for a big audience, and there is this. Oh, I wish I had the book on me, but there's this book called *Sapiens* by whoever the guy's name is. I wish I knew his name. *Sapiens*, really good book because you learn
Yeah. It's the history of. Is that the one? Yeah.
Noah Harari.
Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah, so that book is so good, and it taught me that back in the day, like when we were tribes, like literal tribes, like we commune around this little village and we go hunt and we gather and we sleep. It's pretty much all they did. And a tribe maxed out at 150 people. And so I even challenge you to be like, who can I call right now and get an answer and be friendly with them because I kind of know a bit about their life. They know a bit about mine, and we can just have a convo. We're not really strangers, and we're not even kind of like second strangers, like where they're kind of close. Like your number will probably max out around 150 because it's just like the limit of where our brain goes. After that, it's like, oh, I know who you are, but like, what do you do again? Or like, oh, what? You just kind of like, you've got 150 people about, and then the rest you're just like, schnitz, that's from another tribe. I gotta like maybe go do a little bit of research to remind myself who you are. And so what I'm trying to do is for every 150 people in my group, I get a moderator. And I'm almost doing it by accident. Like yesterday, made Christina Joy in my group a moderator, which is awesome. And like, I didn't really do it strategically that we're like, okay, we just hit 150 extra people. We need another moderator. Honestly, it was like, we've got Brandon, Jan, me, Evelyn on the team. And I was like, too many dudes. And I was like, Christina, come be a girl in the group. And And so she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm super excited." So that's 5 times 150. 5 times 150. Look at that. 750. That's what that number is. So it's 5 moderators for 750 people, which equates to about 150 people per moderator. And that's actually crazy. My group is at 754. So like I just find that when I it's almost happening naturally is like because I didn't strategically say like we hit 750, Christina, I need a moderator. It was literally just like I had a vibe. I was like, "There's too many dudes on our team. We need a girl." And so I went to go get her, and she's awesome, and now she's on the team. And, but it came from me from a sense of vibe. It wasn't really numbers. I wasn't even looking at our numbers. It was just vibe. And now that we've kind of reverse engineered it, it was like we probably hit another milestone of 150 extra members. And we're like, you know what? We probably need an extra person to go take care of their tribe. So if you can have like a moderator per tribe and your tribe is probably 150 people with the caveat of if it's a paid moderator, it's a lot harder to hire moderator on moderator on moderator on moderator. You can do like percentage of revenue. You can do like 1% of MRR equates to salary. You can do coaching in exchange. So I do coaching in exchange for 2 of my moderators, paid for the other 2. You get it's just bartering. Just make sure everybody's happy and they are happy with what they're getting. But if you can get a moderator per 150, it'll just make you happier. Also make your group happier because people feel cared for. So pretty much take care of your 150 and then have people help you when you get above that with the caveat of you can probably get to 300 members by yourself and it's like not the end of the world. But I think once you get like 350, you start to realize like, holy crap, that's a lot of people. What do I do? And then you go say, hey, Dinka, please help me.
That's how it works. Real time. I'll tell 2 behind the scenes stories, and one of them involves you. Yesterday, was there a little bit of you had something to do, I had an appointment, there was nobody to run the mastermind, and you were like, "Hey, we need somebody on the team. Hey, Christina, wanna be on the team?" Is that a little bit how it went down?
No, funnily enough, her and I got her on the team the day before, and it was genuinely just like we had had a couple calls in a row. I was like, "There's just straight dudes on this call." I'm like, "Dudes are cool, but like the female energy definitely helps balance stuff out and bring a new perspective." I'm like, I was just curious. I'm like, I wonder if ladies are coming to the call and they see all the faces and it's just dudes, and they're probably like, "Eh." They don't want to come like fight all the dudes off. So I was like, let's just get more ladies in here because I want to be a community. And I think like a community has a balance because men and women just like biologically balance each other pretty yin and yang. So yeah.
I pretty
Oh,
much fall into the dude category because that's just not my decision making process. It's like, oh, all my
Yeah.
guys are here, yay! So
Yeah.
for some reason, I'm just, like, getting together a collection of, um it was
yeah,
funny, I
you're the chicken coop. Yeah, you have all the
Well, yeah, I
girls.
just got
Yeah.
my chicken coop. Yeah, my whole team is all ladies, and, um, super funny story. Actually, I'm gonna finish what we were talking about. So, another thing is, like, yesterday, I wasn't like, "You know what?" Or the other day, I wasn't like, "You know what? We really need new moderators." Me and Think talked after the summit, we're like, "Hey, we're growing. We might have to add to the team." "Yeah, we might have to. If anybody stands out, we'll know." And then there was a moment where I was like, "We're all kinda busy, and things are happening," and I'm like, "Man, I'm struggling to, like, get this done or just create an extra thread every day or like comment a little bit." And seriously, the second I said that in my head, Iris came up and popped up and created a thread. And I was like, oh my God, Iris loves our communities. Iris is amazing. Iris shows up. Like, Iris, you want to be a moderator? Like that quick. Like you just seen the whole, like it wasn't like, oh no, now we got to vet Iris and figure it out. I was like, oh, she would work great. Look at that. And it just happened like, it just happened that easy. And, um, Ankara, a little funny story back to my whole team being ladies. I was scheduling Ankara's breathwork session for the summit. And I was like, dude, we honestly like me and the girls think you'd be a great fit. And he goes, yeah, man, let's schedule me up. Let's do it. And wait, there's going to be girls? And I was like, no, no, the girls on my team.
It's such an Ankara thing to say.
Yeah, it was so funny. I think we talked about a lot of cool things today about like Skool is simple, but there's a lot of complicated things. There's a lot of little things, not complicated, but little things. And if you do them right, or you bring on the right team member, or you just have the right culture, like your coffee chats are genius, right? Like little things where you show up for your members on that free level, on your paid level, and they can make your experience and your members' experience that much different. And I think we touched on a few of those today. Do you have any what do you see as the biggest mistake, new not mistake or bad habits or things that new school owners fall into?
The biggest mistake is living in your head. Got Tim Tyndall, who's this awesome dude. We all love Tim. And he says, when you're in your head, you're dead. And so get out of your head, please. You're in your head. If you've spent more than 15 minutes on your plans page, you're in your head. Because I bet you spent 15 minutes on your plans page, but you haven't spent 15 minutes telling people about it. So just go talk to people. They're going to judge you. Some people are not going to like it. Like some people are going to out of 100 people, 1% of people, so 1 out of 100 is clinically psychotic. So like I take that as a grain of salt that like if someone really, really just like I present an offer and they hate me, it's probably not the right thing to do, but I tell myself, you know what? That's that 1%. There's the psychopath. It makes me able to like laugh it off, play it off, and realize that like if I get rejected, if I get yelled at, if I get like just go to the worst case scenario. Like I go to Dinka and say, hey Dinka, I just made a plans page. I want you to check it out. And I recommend you buy premium because of your situation. And then Dinka goes, I hate you. Stop pitching me. You tyrant. You're this terrible human. You suck so bad. And then blocks me and then like does like a smear campaign on me on all social medias. And then she comes to my house and like she throws rocks at the windows. Like, that is probably worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And like, in that case, it's not a reflection of me. Like, sorry to use Dinka, but this hypothetical lady is literally insane. And so, like, just kind of take that as a grain of salt is that you can go out there, put yourself out there, put your offers out there. Your offers are going to suck. I would still consider my offer right now sucks because it just like, it hasn't like changed people's lives in the way I want it to. And so like your offer will suck. And then the next one will also suck. And then the next one will also suck. And then like you'll be 10 years down the line and you'll make a new one and it'll still suck. And the only reason it sucks is because it was your offer in your head and you told nobody about it. My first ever course I made, the school textbook, was literal dog water. And I put like 40 hours of work into it. And I brought it to the market and I said, guys, look at this. And everybody was like, why in the world is it so unorganized? I'm like, oh, this looks organized to me. And then they were like, no, this is useless. And I was like, damn it. And so I reiterated. If you're like, okay, that's a little bit better, but it's still confusing. I'm like, what's wrong? And they said, please make it just 5 chapters because that's what it seems like. And then I put that. And now people are like really easily able to browse through it. And it wasn't because of my offer or my thought or my product was good out the gates. It was because I did whatever I did, which I did take 40 hours. I probably shouldn't have taken that long in retrospect, but I did whatever I did. And I at least put it out there and accepted feedback. Maybe that is the number one thing that people are missing is like, if you look for anything at the end of the day, it's get feedback. Just get feedback on how you talk to people, get feedback on what they like and what they don't like. If you can start every day as a newer school owner and be like, today, I'm going to go get 10 people to give me feedback. If that's your goal, you will grow like exponentially because you're going to get 10 people to give you feedback. You're going to apply that feedback. It's going to get probably 10 times better. And then the next day, you're going to get 10 more people. And they're like, whoa, this is really good. How'd you come up with this? And then they might buy from you just off the fact that your product has improved from 10 points of feedback in one day. But then you're like, oh yeah, I improved it, but I want you to use it. And then can you tell me what you think? And it's just like, if you can go out every day and just optimize for feedback, just be like, yo guys, tell me why you like or don't like this. And then just act off of that feedback. I think you'll do wonders on Skool. I think you'll do wonders in your life, in your business. I think feedback is scary and the human body is designed to be defensive. It's designed to fight or flight the second you get critiqued. And so if you can just realize that's my body, right? And there's like this balance. You want to live in your heart, but you also want to think in your brain. And so when your body starts to get tense because you're getting feedback, it's your body getting into fight or flight. It's not actually like the truth or the reality of the situation that like your body's getting tense because it's thinking you're about to get like rejected from the tribe and then like kicked out to the curb and then the lions are going to eat you. Like that's why your body goes into fight or flight when you get feedback, especially like more negative feedback. But you have to kind of like get out of your body and then just be like, wow, okay, this feedback, if I use it, will make this person happier. And if it makes this person happier, it might make like 10 other people happier. And I'm not saying like do things for other people, but do your product for other people. Unless you just want to buy your product, then that's fine. But that is my advice is I would say wake up every day looking for feedback and understand that you're probably going to hate it because feedback usually sucks. And you're like, but you don't understand. You just don't understand. And just realize like, no, they don't understand. They have their own life to live. And you asked for feedback and you got it. Now take that feedback and do something with it. And I think that will, if you do that every day, you'll do some cool stuff on Skool.
That was a brilliant answer. I like that. As we're winding down, Dinka, do you have any input questions for Jackie Boy before we let him off to his busy schedule?
This could go on for hours, obviously, and I definitely think that this should be a recurrent thing because there's a lot of value, a lot of new ideas, perspectives. I enjoy not agreeing with you guys in a civilized way, that we just get to say stuff and still, laugh at the end. So thank you for that, for being open and yourself. That's really what we want. So no, I don't have a question.
And as a podcast, if we're just vanilla and bland and like, let's just talk about
No, we don't do vanilla. We do vanilla with garlic. That's what we are. Vanilla with chili and garlic in it.
Yeah.
That sounds gross. I'm not putting garlic on my vanilla. Yeah.
I'm willing to be the garlic.
No, I think the way I said it is awesome because I think my brain is just like kind of black and white, and then you're like, okay, but look at this gray. And then I'm like, but I want to put it back in black and white. And you're like, but look at his gray. And so I think it's a good picture for everybody else.
Yeah.
I like the idea of recurring thing. Plus we're doing foundations features. Maybe we can do like a little masterclass on Skool stuff coming up. As always, we're going to be
Skool Sundays or something.
Yeah. I don't know how many people. Yeah, something. Skool Sundays. Sorry, I'm going to live.
Skool Saturday. I'm really only just using the 2 days that rhyme with school or have an S. It could be any day, but Skool Sunday sounds cool.
So we're a school-based podcast. We talk a lot about school owners. Give Jack a follow, Jack Robinson, the Skoolyard, little biased. It's since I'm part of the team, but it's an amazing, one of the best communities on Skool for coming together, building schools in a fun way, not just stringent business, KPIs, numbers, but doing it fun and thinking of school as a barbecue, the yard party, the backyard, having friends over. And that's changed my life on Skool. And that's why I bugged you and hunted you down the second you were adding to your team. Because using the yard party helped. So join the Skoolyard if you're not there yet. Iris Aponte, you came today. Thanks for joining our team in Evergreen Foundations. Make sure to check out her community, brand new, A Journey Back to You, a amazing space to explore Reiki healing modalities on your healing journey. So make sure to check her community out. Dinka Salvador and the Trinity Code. Oh, Gene Keys,
Brendan.
I've said codes for so long. Gene Keys and Astrology and more. And then the Better Brain Projects and Evergreen Foundations for all of us. Follow us on all the podcast places that you can watch, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and we'll catch you next time, guys. Keep evolving.
Bye-bye.